All right, everybody, here we go. So we are going to start hands and knees today, and we're going to move into child's pose. But I don't want you to move into child's pose quickly. Yeah. I really want you to take your time. So just start here in this table, just move around organically, right? Like roll the torso, let the head bob, maybe a couple of head rolls. Notice what's happening in the shoulders, right? Maybe you take the toes under for a minute and then untuck the toes, right? So just like noticing like, what's happening, where am I, how am I feeling, this physicality, right? Just really feeling your body in this space. And then as you're ready, you can slowly begin to lower your hips towards the heels and stopping at any point along the way that your body is asking you to, right? So again, there's no rush here. And then maybe this is where you feel like staying today, right? Maybe you just want to kind of come onto those forearms and elbows and just kind of like a little half sphinx, half child's pose, right? Or maybe you're ready to melt all the way down. So leaving it to you, just find your way, moving around, taking it down to your level of comfort. And I want you to slowly begin to tune in now to the breath. So noticing the texture and the quality of your breath, right? Is it long and slow? Is it shallow and sharp, right? What's sort of happening right now? And can we sort of massage it down to this place where we're feeling that it's really easeful and fluid and even, right? So letting that inhale match the exhale. And then maybe setting an intention, right? Something that is calling to us, or, you know, we can't even think about an emotion that we're feeling right now, right? Emotions knock on our door, like the door of our body, and they just come in uninvited. They're just there. So can we greet them? Can we greet whatever emotion is presenting itself into our body today? And maybe that emotion is there. It needs to share something. It needs to teach us something, right? It needs to give us some insight. So noticing whatever resonates with that. And then on the next breath, let's go ahead and lift ourselves up, and we're going to walk the hands over to the right. So let that right hand come off the mat. Maybe the left fingers sort of interlace in between the fingers of the right. And we're just going to roll that left hip. So we're stretching into that left side body. Finding the breath, feeling how the side body, those ribs are starting to expand and contract. Good. And then slowly lifting up, coming back through center. We'll take it to the other side. So hands come off the mat to the left. Maybe that right hand just kind of lays on top. If that's too much, don't do it. Just let them come side by side. Right? That right hip rolls slightly over, and we're breathing. We're stretching. And then again, lift up, coming back through center. Let's come back into that nice tabletop position here. We're going to go ahead and extend that right leg out behind us, hip height, heel pressing away, toes pointing down, and then that left arm extending forward. So we're finding a little bit of a balance here. Core is lifted. And then we'll release. We'll do the same thing to the other side. So let that left leg reach right arm. And release one more time, both sides. And release. This time as you extend that right leg and left arm, we're just gonna hold for a moment, and then we're gonna take it underneath the body. So we're gonna bring the elbow to the knee, we're gonna pull the belly in and up, draw the chin into the chest. And then we're gonna extend. 2 more, just like that. Pull everything in. And inhale, extend. Last time. And release. Good, just wag the tail. Other side, left leg long, right arm extends. And draw it in, pull it in. Reach. Pull it in. Use the energy here, right? We want to really feel how we can pull everything in and let everything go, yeah? And take it back down, good. Tucking the toes under, find your downward facing dog in Adho Mukha Svanasana. So pedaling out the feet, right? Maybe you want to open up the arms just a little bit wider than your shoulders. Index fingers pointing forward. Feel that wrapping of the shoulders, the lift of the belly. Heels melting behind the toes. And we'll inhale, come forward into plank, and exhale onto hands, onto our knees. So we're just gonna shift our hips forward and then open up the chest. Nice deep breath here. And then exhale, pull yourself back up into downward facing dog. Looking forward, you can step or jump to the top of the mat, finding a standing forward fold, Uttanasana. Chin into the chest, shake the head, shake the shoulders. Maybe a slight micro bend in the knees. And then inhale, lift halfway up, bring that crown of the head forward. Those hands are gonna fall somewhere, right? The shins or the thighs, maybe lower if you have a flat back. And then exhale, release. Bend the knees, let's find chair pose, Utkatasana. So bend the knees, shift those hips back. While you're here, lift your 10 toes and then put them back down again. So that's just a nice easy check, right? To see if we're gripping in those toes or not. So lift them up, fan them out, place them back down. Inhale, lift. Exhale, palms to heart center. Close the eyes just for a breath. And then open the eyes, inhale, reach up, look up. Exhale, follow the hands with your drishti all the way down to the floor. Bend the knees, let's step that left foot back, coming into a lunge here. Right, so we're stretching again, that crown of the head forward, come up onto the fingertips. So we're really just having this light touch on our fingertips. So we have to engage the core and really work at drawing that left hip forward. Good, now release that left hand down and go ahead and take a twist to the right. Right arm extends up towards sky. And then slowly release the right hand back down. Bring that right foot back to meet the left, downward facing dog. Inhale forward into plank and exhale onto the knees. Good. Shift the hips forward and open up to this modified upward facing dog. And I say modified because our knees are down. Exhale, press back, downward facing dog. Follow the breath. Imagine that you're in your house with that feeling, that emotion. You're sitting together, having a cup of tea, working it out. Looking forward, inhale, up onto hands and knees. Bring the feet back between, up to the top of the mat, standing forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, release. Let's bend those knees again and find our chair, Utkatasana. Maybe we can sit a little bit lower this time. Draw the shoulders away from the ears, belly's lifted. Inhale, reach up, exhale, palms to heart center. Close the eyes, notice your heart. Maybe your heart's beating a little bit now. Well, not that it wasn't beating before, but a little bit more. Open the eyes, inhale, reach up, look up. Exhale, swan dive over the legs, standing forward, fold, bend the knees, step that left foot back. As we lunge, come onto those fingertips. Draw that left hip back, that right hip forward. Reach and extend through the crown of the head. Right? We can do this lazy, or we can find the energy. And then release that right hand, twist to the left. Last breath here. Let that left hand come back down to the floor. Left foot back to meet the right, downward facing dog. Inhale, flow forward into plank. Exhale on the knees. This time, cross at the ankles. Shift forward. Make sure that those elbows are in line. Or I should say the shoulders are in line with the wrists. And then rotate those elbow creases forward. We're gonna exhale, come halfway down, so shaving the sides of the rib cage, and then inhale, press up. So little presses. Let's see if we can do 5. Release your feet and find your modified upward dog. Nice. Tuck those toes under and press back to downward facing dog. Nice, full deep breaths. And again, looking forward, step, hop, or jump to the top of the mat. Feet come between the hands. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, release, find chair. Been here before. And then inhale, come all the way to stand. Good. We're gonna bring those palms together at heart center. And we're gonna come up onto the ball of that right foot. We're just gonna hold it here with the knee at hip height. We're gonna open it up and then bring it back. So, right, it's a little bit of a balance, a little bit of concentration. One more time. Holding it right there. We're gonna step that right foot all the way back, coming into a high lunge. So trusting that that floor is there, right? Sink in. Knee and ankle and that left foot are directly over each other. And then we can inhale, arms up over the head, palms facing one another. Let's open up to the left. So right arm forward, left arm back. We're gonna drop that left hand and reach that right arm up. Like we're a little, like look at me, I'm modeling. I'm gorgeous. All right, go ahead and come back forward. Nice. On the exhale, bring those hands right inside that left foot. Right, we're just gonna hold here for a second, reaching the crown of the head forward. And then we're gonna come down onto that back knee. I want you to walk that left foot up and to the side of the mat. And we're just gonna take a twist to the left. Right, maybe you roll onto the outside edge of the foot in this little modified lizard. Bringing the foot back down, hand to the floor. Let's go ahead and just draw that left foot back to meet the right. And we're in a nice, easy tabletop. Take a round of cat and cow. Take another one. And coming into that neutral spine, let's tuck those toes under and find downward dog again. Looking forward, coming up into the tippy toes. Top of the mat we go. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release, bend those knees and chair pose, Utkatasana. So we've been doing this a lot, right? So Each time, challenge yourself. Can you go a little bit lower? A little bit lower, right? And inhale, come to stand. Let's bring those palms to heart center. Follow the left foot. We're going to raise that knee hip height. And then we're going to take it out to the side and in 3 times. We have a nice little pop there. One more. Good. Let's go ahead and bend into that standing leg. Take that left leg back and we're back into our lunge position. So once you feel steady, you can take those arms up alongside the ears and breathe here. On the next breath, let's go ahead and open those arms wide, twisting over that right bent leg, and we'll drop the right arm down, left arm up. Beautiful. And then we're just going to swing that right arm back up, coming through center, come down lower, exhale, hands inside that right leg, come down onto that left knee, walk those toes forward and out. And again, we can shift forward and begin to twist to the left. Last breath here, coming back through center. Good. Let's go ahead and just kind of melt that right leg back to meet the left. Knees can be wide apart or together. Find a child's pose. Bring those hips to the heels and take your forehead down to the floor. Settle in. So this is going to be a little modified class tonight, so we're not going to go the full hour for those of you that are tuning in later. Right, so this is a nice little class to pick up if you don't have the full hour to be with us. Right, sometimes we can just get on the mat and do a couple of sun salutations. Right, we don't always have to show up on the mat to be prepared to, you know, work for an hour of our time. Anytime that we can just reset with some movement, it's just so healthy for us. All right, inhaling, let's coming back through hands and knees. Yep, we're gonna go ahead and drop into those hips, cross at the ankles, and we're gonna do those pulses again, right? Those little push-ups. So rotating those elbow creases forward, exhale halfway down, inhale, lift. Really work into those arms here, guys, right? This is a strength builder. We wanna have that core turned on, right? We wanna feel strong and steady. Nice, and then go ahead, release the feet, and you're gonna open yourself up into that modified upward dog, and then slowly go ahead and bring your forehead down to the floor. We're gonna take the fingers off the mat, come up onto the fingertips, and then slightly rotate them in toward you. Those elbows are pointing up towards the ceiling. Zip up the legs, big toes are touching, thighs squeezing together. Lift the kneecaps, but not the feet. On your next inhalation, with the shoulders rolling back, lift the head, lift the chest. Breathe here and hold. Notice the longer you stay, how you feel. Exhale, slowly lower down. Take your favorite cheek to the floor and turn your palms face up. Bringing the forehead back to the floor. Go ahead and activate those legs. Bring the hands behind the back. Interlace the fingers at the small of the back. Draw the shoulders together. And then reach your fingers for your heels. So we're just going to stay here for a breath. Right? This is work right here, even with our forehead still on the mat. You are welcome to stay right here, squeezing those elbows together. Squeezing the shoulder blades, or you can lift the head and chest. And then exhale, slowly release. Let's bring the hands up underneath the shoulders again, tucking the toes under, find table. Wiggle those hips side to side. A little swaying, a little sashaying. Like we're a little happy puppy dog, right? Yeah. All right, and then we're just gonna come over onto our right side and come into a comfortable seat. So our toes are gonna be pointing upward here. And we're gonna inhale, take those arms up and over the head. On our exhale, hinging forward for our forward fold. Letting the fingertips release anywhere that's comfortable, maybe the floor, maybe the feet, maybe, underneath the calves. But I really want you to work on that energetically drawing in of those ribs, the lifting of the belly, right? We're folding from the pelvis, right? We're not rounding in the shoulders. Try to draw this pinky edge side of the toes towards you. So we're lighting up the periphery of the body here. Nice. And then slowly let's inhale, come all the way back up. Whew, good. All right. So we're going to bring those knees in. We're going to turn the toes out just for a minute, finding a little cobbler pose. And then taking a same forward fold here. Again, with that nice flat back, so you may not be going very far. You can decide, maybe even like give a little nice massage to the feet. That might feel really good. Right, a little self-care, a little love. I notice sometimes at the end of the day, especially if I've been sitting a lot, like my ankles start to swell. Right, so maybe a little just love on the ankles. Last breath, and then come all the way upright. Good. We're going to close our knees like we close a book. And we're going to roll all the way down onto our back. Bringing those feet up underneath, close to the buttocks, like we can try to reach the heels with our fingers. Then we're going to inhale the arms up over the head with the palms facing up. So from this position, we're going to begin to roll up through the spine, right? So we're coming into a bridge. I want you to press down and forward in the feet, and then slowly round yourself up, all the way up, pressing as high as you can go with the arms up over the head. Now on your exhale, begin to lift the hands, and as they come through center, I want you to start to roll all the way down. So we're just going to continue this rolling bridge motion. Inhale, begin with the hands. Extend, take the spine up one vertebrae at a time so you can't go any higher. Energy pressing down into the ground. Exhale, taking it down, right? We want those feet planted. They're rooted. They're not moving. Inhale, lift all the way up. Exhale, lower all the way down. Nice. And stay here for a moment. Breathe. We're going to grab a block and we're going to lift up and we're going to find our sacrum, right? Which is that bony plate at the base of the spine. Let's go ahead and take those shoulders up underneath the body so we can feel a little slight lift in the chest. And we're going to bring those legs all the way up, perpendicular to the floor. Rotate your knees so that they're facing you, right? So we have this like neutral position in the legs for our Viparita Karani this evening. If you feel like taking a different inversion, feel free. If shoulder stand or headstand or handstand in your practice, then that's where you go. Or you can just stay here, or you can keep staying in bridge, right? Bridge is also an inversion. It's a mild inversion. But come back to that room of your house. Come back to that emotion that was knocking at the door and let itself in. How are things? And we'll slowly let the feet come back down. Lift up and take the block away. Finding a little cross-legged position. Let's take that left ankle over the right knee and pull the right knee into the chest. We're going to wrap the hands around the shins of the thighs here and try to draw that left knee away. So we're in pigeon, right? This is pigeon on our backs. Modified pose. We're still working into those hips. Maybe you want to like lift that right leg up. Maybe you want to point and flex the toes. One more breath here. Nice. Let's go ahead and just cross that leg all the way over. And we're just going to let the legs fall and tumble over to the right. And we're just going to take a peek over at that left shoulder. Spinal twist. Slowly unravel the legs, bring the left leg up, followed by the right. Okay, get that spine back into a neutral spot. And let's go ahead and cross that right ankle on top of the left knee and then lift that leg up off the floor. Hands are wrap around that left shin and we draw that right knee away. Maybe even we shift a little bit. Right, just sort of getting into the periphery of the body. Beautiful. Slowly let that right knee cross over the left, and we're just going to let the legs float over to the left. And as we're ready, looking over that right shoulder. You might feel a couple of pops in the spine. So a little bit deeper twist when we have our legs crossed. If that doesn't feel good to you, just uncross them. You never want to do anything in your practice that doesn't feel good. I mean, it's one thing to kind of go to your edge, but you really never want to push past that to a point where you feel like you might be putting yourself in jeopardy. All right, let's go ahead and uncross the legs, bring the right knee up, followed by the left. And then take any last movements you feel like making before we find ourselves in the Savasana tonight. So again, maybe you want to take a happy baby. Maybe you just want to roll around a little bit on the floor, point and flex the feet, right? And then just let those legs grow long, the arms away from the body. Settling in to Savasana, our final resting pose, right? So we want to just be present here. Again, we want to become familiar with our emotions and comfortable with sitting with where we are and what we're feeling without judgment. That's the key, guys, without judgment. Slowly bringing your attention back to the space. Letting the breath fill, fully expanding all sides, bottom, middle, top of the lungs, all around, exhaling fully, completely out. Maybe a couple of rounds of those slow, long, deep, yummy breaths bring you back. Wiggling fingers and toes as you're ready. Right, making any small movements that feel right and good to you. Bring the feet to the floor with the knees bent. And as you're ready, rolling to your right side if your rest of your day is fairly quiet. To the left if you are having something busy and energizing going on. And we'll meet back in an upright seated position. Keep the eyes closed or partially closed, just so you can stay with yourself, right? And you don't have the distractions. Palms can rest in your hands. I mean, the hands, that's really good, Leah. Let the palms rest together on your thighs, maybe putting one hand cupped inside the other. I'm having trouble with my words. It's okay. I can make fun of myself. You can't be serious all the time. It's no fun. So just take a minute here, and I want you to hold in your hand that emotion. It could be the same emotion you started with, or it could be a new emotion. And I want you to remember that emotions don't stay. They do not control us. They do not own us. They are a part of us. And we welcome them as we would anyone coming into our home. But they leave. So when we feel those emotions that we don't necessarily want, we just have to remember that they will not stay. So taking those palms and placing them on your heart, as if we're allowing ourselves to hug or love whatever we're feeling. Give it a life. Acknowledge. And then let it go. Take a deep breath. Exhale. And I'll close by saying namaste. The light in me sees, recognizes, and honors that same light in you. Have a great afternoon, and I will see you again. Thank you.
Thank you.